Hi Taurus, it's Kendrick from Providence Tarot. I am here to give you your November reading. I know that I didn't even give you a reading for Leo season, which was my mistake, I guess I would call it. I just kind of got very busy. But now we're in Scorpio season. It's fixed season, so it's your turn. I'm going to give you a reading, and hopefully it's going to be really good. I'm using the Badass Bitches Tarot by Cards B, and I have some other cards here because I'm going to be reading today, and I'm Shanti for several hours. So you're kind of like my warm-up. It's my introduction to my reading today. I read pretty much every day. Some days I do need breaks, but you know, whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and get into these cards and everything, okay? And of course, we just had a school of kids come by, so you'll have lots of joy and laughter around, positive vibes, right? It's a beautiful day here in Central Park in New York. It is maybe, I don't know, in the mid-60s. In terms of temperature, it's beautiful. It's kind of like my favorite thing about fall in New York. It just feels perfect. If it could be like this all year around, it would be amazing. So I don't have any planets in Taurus, but I know that Uranus is actually in Taurus right now. And we just had a full moon there on October 31st, and that was conjunct Uranus. You know, so sudden changes, sudden shifts, you know, mood swings perhaps for some people. And then a couple days later, the moon went into Cancer. I felt it because I'm a triple cardinal sign, and I'm around a lot of cardinal signs. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and cut your deck. I think it's fine. It's time for me to do it. Hopefully you can hear me. Now I have these headphones just because the last pair were giving me drama, and I feel like okay, so let's see. It's like a different angle. I've got my feet in the grass because I need to feel grounded today. Oh my gosh, okay. Oh wow, this is amazing. Okay, first of all, right, because it's the Hierophant, which is you, right? And that's number 5. But the 5s are talking about conflicts, but it's conflicts that are going to bring about a raising of consciousness, if you will, right? And it kind of brings your awareness to something that needs to change in order for you to grow, right? The Hierophant is talking about your belief systems and things that need to change that might be limiting for you in some kind of way, shape, or form. You know, so it could be like, let's say that you grew up eating meat and now you realize that you don't actually agree with that anymore. That's kind of like changing your beliefs, right? You may have been limiting yourself before because you didn't realize that you could live a healthier life, like that type of thing. Or let's say if you were racist or something like that, and then you realize that actually there is nothing positive that comes from that. That's a raising of consciousness, and that's very like Hierophant, you know, kind of like me versus them, or me, you know, that type of thing. The Hierophant is also talking about how you might be comparing your situation to someone else's, and that could be allowing you to see where you might be limited, but then you're not, you know, you're just comparing yourself to someone else. So when we compare ourselves to other people, we're inevitably going to see lack in ourselves, right? Because we're kind of like bringing attention and focus and value to something that someone else has, and we should be actually looking at what we have that makes us who we are, and that's how you can improve yourself that way, right? You can become a stronger person. You have a stronger sense of self when you are less focused on what other people are doing and what they have, right? That type of thing, you know. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm just gonna go there, and then we can like elaborate on it as we continue that, you know. Because for me, like the Hierophant in Taurus, the quintessential Taurus for me is Queen Elizabeth II, right? Because she actually is a Taurus, okay? and she is queen. She's a monarch, right? So it is literally like she's very different from everyone else, you know. Um, and the Hierophant is number 5. Leo is the 5th house. That's very like Louis the 14th, and very like the Sun King, you know, the crown. Um, Very interesting. Anyway, let me continue. So this is talking about focusing on your beliefs and what makes you you. You know, it's self-affirming, right? These self-affirming lessons that we go through, okay? That type of thing. Okay, let me just continue. Okay, the center of the reading is the Three of Cups, and the Three of Cups is that's Mercury in Cancer, right? So that is, Mercury is change, but it's also searching. And Cancer is emotional meaning or satisfaction, right? Or nurturing. So it's like searching for nurturing or searching for nourishment. So where are you going to receive, Cancer, Cups 3, this nourishment, right? You can seek it out in places that you know are going to be supportive environments for you, you know? People that don't necessarily agree with everything that you agree with, because that's kind of like the shadow side of Taurus, because it's like if there is no one around to challenge our beliefs, then we are limiting ourselves, because like we aren't being it's not being brought to our attention where we might need to make some changes in order to experience life, you know, on a more elevated level or in a more pleasant way. You know what I mean? So that's the type of thing, like if you cut yourself off from certain groups of people just because they can't change certain things about themselves, right? That makes them who they are, then you're limiting yourself, because you could be learning so much from those people that you just don't want to, right? So it's kind of like a sense of stubbornness. But this is saying that you need to be a little bit more flexible, right? And you need to take some risks that might make you feel a little bit more vulnerable, right? Do something different that you haven't done before, because you're going to respond, you're going to react differently, right? And, you know, then you will experience some sense of satisfaction, because it's something that's different, you know. And if you don't experience satisfaction, at least you know more, right? At least it was interesting, okay? At least you learned something, right? So it's kind of like, yeah, you just have to put yourself in situations that are going to feed you in a positive way, right? That type of thing. And this is also talking about emotional growth, you know, so you could be kind of trying to find a sense of balance in a process that might be prompting you to question how you think and how you feel. And in doing that, you're kind of like exploring your emotions in an intellectual way. So then it's like, it's more of a pleasant experience, right? Because it's a 3, so that's related to harmony. Oh my God, a B. It's related to harmony and, you know, things like that. The bee is a good animal totem, but I don't like to get stung because I'm allergic. But I put on like stuff that makes me smell good. Okay, so we have the Queen of Swords here that's crossing the Three of Cups. So you could be dealing with the Libra, right? But the Queen of Swords is also related to the Three of Swords. So it's kind of like you learned your lesson, right? This could be like you learned your lesson in a relationship, or you could have learned your lesson in terms of I don't know. This is saying that you need to talk things out with someone, because the Queen of Swords is someone that communicates, right? And it's almost like a kind of therapist energy, and like you know, she can speak to you, or they, the Queen of Swords person, can speak to you clearly and objectively, right? So then you'll be able to come up with some answers from a clear headspace, because you feel safe and safe to express yourself freely and your ideas. So that's the challenge. You need to be in a space, or you need to be around people that are going to, challenge you in healthy ways, but also create a space for you where you can express your ideas and be a creative thinker, right? Yeah, let me just continue. The Queen of Swords is Virgo, and it's also a little bit of it's Virgo and it's Libra, right? It's 1/3 Virgo and it's 2/3 Libra. So we're coming from a place of trying to, I don't know, manage a situation. Okay, we're trying to be a critical thinker, right? You could be thinking too much about something, because the Queen of Swords does spend a lot of time thinking, and the Three of Cups is acknowledging that there is a lot of time spent feeling, right? But not knowing where to place the feelings or where to go, right? Not knowing, you don't have anyone to talk to about how you feel. So it's like you have to find healthy and creative ways to express yourself, whether it's like through art or it's through writing. Exercise is really important when you don't have anything to physically do, you know what I mean? If you can. Let's look at your past. Okay, so the past is the Fool, and that's Uranus, and that's talking about shakeups and unexpected things that come into play. But the Fool is also, it could be Aquarius, it could be Libra. Yeah. It's saying, like, don't worry so much about where things are headed. And it also just talks about detaching from things, because Uranus is actually in your sign right now. And, if you don't make your experience about the things that you own or about the validation from people, then you have a better experience, It's not searching for meaning in things, right? I feel like this shakeup or whatever it was that happened in the past kind of guided you to maybe having more of a spiritual mindset, if that makes sense. It's like seeing the higher meaning in some things. This bee is like really coming for my bad. Oh my god. I'm so afraid. I'm not. Anyway, let's look at your sun position. This is the Eight of Pentacles, and the Eight of Pentacles is talking about, the quality of the work, the strength of the work. So it's like you can be being critical or very analytical of something, in a very strong way. Your will is strong to get things in order, right? So you could be trying to process, some work, some paperwork. It could be, trying to get something in the last stages, right? Of being ready. The Eight of Pentacles is related to the strength card, and that's Leo. It's talking about encouragement and staying motivated, right? So let the quality of the work be what keeps you motivated, okay? And it's saying there's quality in the strength of the work, or there's strength in the quality of the work. Sorry. So yeah, that's actually what's going to be your strong suit, doing what you do best. Right? I'm sorry I'm not showing you any of the cards right now, but that's because they're so far in front of me. So I'm just kind of reading energy as we go. Right. So it's kind of focus on your strengths, and that's going to get you the best results. You know what I mean? Sometimes when we try to do things that, it's good to try new things, right? If you need to and you feel like it's a healthy thing to do. But if you have, looked at a situation and you actually know what's going to be best and what's going to make you feel in your strength and not in your weakness, then do what's going to make you feel in your strength. You know what I mean? Right? Why not? Yes. And the Eight of Pentacles is actually in the regular playing card deck. It's like at the center of all the cards. It's like the sun, right? So you have that card in this position. So it says, don't be discouraged just because sometimes things are good and sometimes things are bad. Things are up and down. There's always some kind of like roller coaster. Like, you've got to be ready for surprises. But if the quality of the work is strong, then it's going to withstand any issues or any problems that you might face. You know what I mean? Okay, so the Four of Swords, I'm going to switch gears. The Four of Swords is in a moon position, okay? And the moon is talking about hidden things, insecurities, emotional insecurities, right? It could be talking about emotional imprints or, things that just might make you feel a little confined, right? Because Cancer is the fourth house, and the fours are talking about, stability, and it's also like four quarters of the cause, right? So your emotions can make you feel closed in sometimes. And you have a four here, it's a four of swords. Okay. And the four of swords is saying, it's Jupiter in Libra. So it's talking about expansions and contractions in relationships, right? Highs and lows, ups and downs, ins and outs. And in order to find and regain our own mental strength, we have to be willing to detach from our relationship and the needs that others have for us to be present in their lives, and we have to be present in our lives, right? Because sometimes we give so much to other people because we have a responsibility in our relationships to show up in the ways that, like, we have, we've cultivated a relationship, we've built something, so we feel that it's our responsibility to stay connected, but sometimes it's our responsibility to disconnect. So it's about setting clear boundaries for yourself and knowing when to be alone and appreciate the time that you have alone and make time for that, right? And this is also saying so that you can think for yourself as well, because people leave impressions on us and we process information all the time, so there's like a lot of things. I don't know, I think it's like we have like 70,000 thoughts a day or something like that. I forget. That's a lot. That's a lot to try to clean up as you're processing through it, so that's why you have to pull away from all of life's dramatizations and just kind of like be with yourself. That's what I'm doing today, and look at what I'm able to do. Yeah, it's self-affirming, and it helps you come up with your own ideas, right? And it helps you realize your own goals or focus on your own goals. That's what this is saying too, So how you might be emotionally affected by the expectation that other people have for you to be present in their life. It's kind of like, pulling you away from what you need to be focused on for you, basically. All right, and your anxieties, disappointments, that type of thing. You have another 3, and it's the 3 of Pentacles, which is actually Mars and Capricorn. So it's kind of like what you're worried about is if people are going to be satisfied with the work. You feel a little bit of pressure to have good work or to perform well. And they're either they're asking you to do a lot of things, and you're having to practice endurance, flexibility, and stamina. And that might be challenging for you. Or you actually might be working very well under the pressure, but you have worries and anxieties that you're not. You know what I mean? Sometimes we could be doing a really great job, but because of the pressure that we put on ourselves, sometimes it's not the pressure that other people put on us, it's the pressure that we put on ourselves that make us feel like, oh my gosh, am I doing a good enough job? But the Three of Pentacles is saying, yeah, you are. So stop worrying about whether or not, you know, it's going to be received or it's going to be good enough. You know, that Capricorn energy, it's Mars and Capricorn. Mars likes doing the work, right? It's inspired to go. And Capricorn is going to tell you what to do and where to go. Because Capricorn, that energy can be very bossy. It's the executive, you know. And Saturn rules Capricorn, so it's like very intimidating, and it puts a lot of pressure on you to perform and act in ways that might be intimidating or challenging. But this is saying that you are doing it. You're wearing well. You know that song? Hello? Okay, so you really don't have anything to worry about. You just have to create that time and space for you to kind of like decompress, and then you won't be putting so much time and attention into like whether or not, you know, this is correct or they like this or they don't like, you know, whatever that is. Alright, so we have the Knight of Pentacles in your Mars position, and that is just saying that, you know, like I said, focus on the quality of the work. Time progression is going to be slow in terms of like, or the progression is going to be slow in terms of like what you see starting to form or starting to grow. There's prosperity here in whatever this is that you're thinking about, right? Because you know what it is that your situation is. There's a lot of people watching this video, so I don't know specifically, but, you know, the Virgo is talking about service-oriented things, and the Knight of Pentacles says, like, let someone help you. You know, you just have to compromise a little bit in order to, like, excuse me, allow someone to kind of, like, help you or assist you in some kind of way, shape, or form. But the Knight of Pentacles, like I said, it's Virgo, but it's 1/3 Leo. You know, so it's kind of like putting the time and the attention into the detail of the work so that, you know, the proof is in the pudding and the work speaks for itself. That's what the Knight of Pentacles talks about, the work speaking for itself. You know, because it's coming from Leo, which is like, I did it. And it's like, it wasn't really done that, you know, you did it. But like, let's try to finesse it and let's move some things around and just kind of like modulate some things, you know, check for error to make sure that it's going to be like the best work that we can present, right? That type of thing. And if this is health, you know, if you guys are trying to make certain changes health-wise, you know, it talks about slow progressions because some things may work for you and some things may not work for you. You actually may not like some things that work, right? So there might be something that you do like that also will work for you. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like slow progressions and like, I don't know, making like little minor adjustments here and there to kind of like come up with the best formula that is going to, you know, get us somewhere so that we can see progress. Somewhere so that we can see progress with the Six of Wands in your Venus position. So that's great. Like, things are happening, right? And the Six of Wands is Jupiter and Leo. Okay. So we have Jupiter in Libra at the top of the position. In the Venus position, we have Jupiter in Leo. So this is like Jupiter being in two signs that are actually sextile each other, right? So the Six of Wands is so from Libra. Leo is 11 houses away, so that has to do with friends. This could be like working with friends, the Six of Wands, or this could be like a friend helping you get something, or this could be like, you know, Six of Wands is searching for something. You're looking for a new passion, probably, or you might be exploring something that is bringing you satisfaction, good vibes, you know what I mean? You are getting something out of this. You have a lot of goals or new goals, right? Some people might even think that you have some unrealistic goal, or maybe there might be something that people thought was an unrealistic goal, or something that they thought was kind of like, wow, you know, too good to be true or too big. It's kind of like they're seeing it happen, right? Or there's something good that's coming out of this situation or this environment that you're in, because you did the work and the work is paying off. Because the sixth house is Virgo, and that's the Knight of Pentacles, and then the next card is the Six of Wands, right? So we're talking about the work that you did actually paying off. So definitely be patient, you know what I mean? And it's saying if you're patient, and like I said, focus on the quality of the work, or whatever it is that it is that you're trying to produce or have or treat or nourish, right? It's going to pay off. The Six of Wands is a great card. All right, Page of Cups. All right, so this is change, but it's change in the way of pleased, right? So you might be pleased with something. So this is good. This is also like an announcement, maybe, or something coming in that kind of I don't know. It changes the way that you see a situation. Okay, right? And the pages are all ruled by Saturn, so this is kind of like emotional maturity, or maybe you're at the beginning stages of kind of like finally feeling better about something that you had been probably working on, or that you had to put a lot of time and attention or energy into, or that wasn't easy. You see what I mean? Because Saturn doesn't make anything easy for anyone, right? And this is also being considerate of how other people feel, right? You're starting to be more aware of that. You know, sometimes that's not easy for Taurus because you guys rule the throat, but you're also an earth sign. Earth is opposite of water, so it's not feeling anything. I mean, it is, but that's why the moon is exalted in Taurus. Okay, wow, this is crazy. Because in the future, we have a transformation, right? We have death and rebirth. This is kind of like not fighting something that is inevitable, or that's kind of like meant to happen or going to happen anyway. You know, you can't stop the sun from coming up, right? Like that type of thing. And we can't stop the sun from going down either. So if the sun is going down on a situation, right? Or if you feel like a situation is kind of like changing, or there's an intimate relationship, or, you know, whatever it is that you might be losing, or thinking about giving up, or afraid of having to let go of, just see that there's actually strength in change, and there's power in change. And that's what this Death and Rebirth card talks about, there being power in change, you know? And it's being aware of, you know, life's magic, right? Life's mysteries, that type of thing. which is kind of like creation and creativity. So it's like, yes. So it's like conflict brings in the resolution. So this could be a situation being resolved, but it's kind of like it's not resolved because you had to. It's going to resolve itself, right? Okay. I like that. Here we go. So the death card is number 13, which 1 and 3 is a 4. And now we have the Empress here, which is number 3, which is great. So I was talking about creativity. I was talking about this is a growth process, you know, and this is also like something changing in maybe a year's time. For some of you, this could be like in a year's time, you might be pregnant or have a child because the Empress is a mother, right? That type of energy. You can see all of the children here around her. So this is being abundant, right? So the Empress usually is a situation that changes over time, that helps you evolve, right? And grow into a more mature, you know, thinker. You become more emotionally mature too. And this is your emotional instinct, okay? And it's kind of like being sensitive to this change, but still being able to withstand all of the things that are going on around you that you can't control, but remembering what you can. You know, this is also like not trying to control much, right? Going with the flow, because the 3s are harmonious. They're a flow of energy. It's trining, right? It's kind of like the idea of the Trinity, that type of thing. So you could even be praying for change or praying for things to get better. This could even be a card of travel. So in a year, you might even live in a different place, you know. And this also talks about the inevitability of change and growth, okay? And it's like a responsibility that you have to respond to this impulse for change. It's also kind of like, you know, it's not going to be boring either, you know, because this is a 3, so it's related to the Gemini, the 3rd house. In esoteric astrology, Venus actually rules Gemini, not Taurus, and not Libra. But this is also Taurus energy. This is you, right? The Empress is Venus, right? And you're Taurus, so you're ruled by Venus. But this is kind of like, I feel like change that is going to, help you re-identify who you are, because usually, like, when you are a mother or when you are a person and then you have a child, you're still the same person, but your identity is different, you know? So this is saying that you're going to feel like a different person in a year's time. I have no idea. You have to check your sun, moon, and rising. And whichever house your sun is in, look at that house's video. So say, for instance, if my sun were in my 10th house, the 10th house is Capricorn, I could look at Capricorn videos. My sun is not in my 10th house, by the way. Anyway, Taurus, yeah, I'm going to leave you at that. I feel like that was like your message. I don't know. Leave me a message in the comment section of this video. Like it. Also subscribe if you haven't. And if you have IG, Instagram, follow me there too. It's Providence Tarot. And My personal account is NYC Kendrick. That's your reading, Taurus.